Why is it so hard to tip at fine dining restaurants in Malindi and Diani Beach? I had amazing dining experiences in both cities, but when it came time to settle my bill and take care of the awesome servers, it was just a hassle. Let's dig into it. If you can't tell by now, I love to eat. I mean, dining out and sampling cuisines local to where I'm visiting. I can't speak enough about the tasty delicacies and great service I experienced here in Kenya. Take a look at this setting. Just incredible. It is difficult to argue that this isn't one of the best dining settings in the world. Of course, there are many exclusive and high-end restaurants back in New York City. Those restaurants are known for their famous chefs, long reservation waiting lists, and of course, exorbitant prices. It is not unheard of to find some restaurants in New York City with a 2-month waiting list. But unfortunately, what most of them have in common is that the decor is artificial. They have to work hard to create a mood or a theme. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That is what most of us are used to when it comes to dining out. However, when it comes to Kenyan coastal restaurants, it is the natural settings which sets them apart. It is not every day that I get to dine in a cave or experience such a beautiful backdrop. I will let the footage speak for itself. Alright guys, this cave is amazing. There's tons of seating in here. It's kind of hot naturally, but they have lots of fans going, so at your table you have a nice breeze. And the menu's extensive, lots of seafood, lots of chicken, lots of meat, lots of cocktails, lots of wines, and it's just quiet. Lots of jazz music in the back, and you're enjoying the natural humidity coming in from the ocean. Another big difference is the cost of dining out in New York City or Boston versus restaurants on the Kenyan coast. High-end restaurants in New York City cost a small fortune for a meal, and that is after waiting a few weeks to get in. If I'm gonna pay a premium to dine out, I want the best experience possible. So I often engage restaurant servers in conversation because they know what's good and what to avoid. Remember Jimmy from my Osteria's Malindi video? Jimmy asked us questions about our tastes and then made recommendations. I love that type of dining experience. However, if I'm going to pump servers for information, I always make sure to take care of them with a nice tip. Maybe it's just me, but I couldn't get over why it was so hard to include a tip when paying with a credit card. Of course, I can tip until my heart is content if I give the servers cash, which I'm sure they would prefer. I know this because I used to be a server at a restaurant in Lebanon, but I just don't like walking around with lots of cash, especially when I'm traveling abroad. I use cash at local restaurants, markets, and shops, but then I resort to using credit cards at high-end restaurants. The owners of these restaurants can easily include a tip section to allow diners to tip their servers. For the life of me, I don't understand why they don't do it. There is no way in New York City that a high-end restaurant wouldn't make it easy for you to tip your server with a credit card. I find it interesting that when I travel to countries where the servers are predominantly black or people of color, that the restaurant owners don't make it easy for you to include a tip in the overall bill for the servers. This is not an indictment of the owners, but I didn't expect that at Billionaire's Resort in Malindi, nor in Ali Barbu's Cave in Diani Beach, it wasn't a regular feature. I dislike being in a position where I can't tip adequately when a server goes above and beyond to add to my dining experience when I'm not traveling with a large wad of cash in my pocket. Look at the awesome and attentive service being performed here. Luckily, I had enough physical cash to take care of her. She did an amazing job. To be clear, my preference is that restaurant owners pay their employees adequately so they don't have to rely on tips. However, we know that some employees really enjoy their jobs and go above and beyond. So I would like the opportunity to compensate them for their extra service without needing to walk around with lots of cash. What am I missing here? My message to restaurant owners in Malindi and Diani Beach: please update your credit card charging process to allow for tipping by credit card. Those who prefer to use cash may continue to do so. I too will continue to tip in cash because I know the servers prefer cash, but I want to make sure that when us diners don't have a lot of extra cash on hand, that we can still take good care of our servers. For the record, this tip box is not going to cut it. I repeat, high-end restaurants like this should allow diners the option to reward servers when settling their tab with a credit card.